So it is a little before 5. I've been up less than an hour. Did I get everything done yesterday? I did actually. I fell asleep around. It was after 8 but before 9, and I had just finished. But that's just like the main profile. And now I need to just go through the activity log one last time. Remove likes that I don't care about anymore. Um, the subscribe feature on Facebook is much more useful. So I don't even read, like, for a while the only part of the feed I was reading was the feed from the venues. I'm not even doing that anymore, and because of the subscribe feature, I'm just gonna unlike large amounts of things that I liked under the hope that I can get something in my feed, which doesn't work anyways. I mean, like, even if I did want to get something from the feed, it doesn't work. So, um, it doesn't work the way that you would expect a feed to work. You know, there's algorithms, and it was like the most popular thing, and all this other nonsense, right? So, like I say, I would love to see a social media site just specifically for concerts. And you just sign. I mean, I know they're out there, but they all suck. If there was actually a good one and people used it and etc., that would be so great. Or even what an area like this with, this is a big sprawling area. Detroit is like the size of it's a megapolis, I guess. It's not, and it's not even the biggest one, but it's a big sprawling area, right? So if it's actually the first time in my life where I've realized the value of a car. Um, Living in a small city my whole life, I didn't need a car because everything was within walking distance. Now, everything's kind of spread out more. That said, rather than buy a car, um, I would be more likely to move to somewhere that has better public transit. I should have moved to Toronto. It's pretty obvious. The question is just more about like finances and stuff. Um, I'm on disability for 5 years, and I've got a lot of music left to do. So I'm not even thinking about that right now. But um, if we had just like one place that was maintained, and everybody put their show info there, and I want to make sure that it's not like a group, like a Facebook group is the worst, right? Um, Make it like an AppSpot site, and make it like formatted properly. Um, so like it used to be that you would go and like the show listings were in the newspaper, and they didn't have everything, right? And you're inevitably gonna get some special snowflakes that don't want their shows in the listings because they only want people that don't know anyone there. Um, I'm ranting. The system works fine. There's only one show that I think I really missed, and that was Giraffes. And I knew about the venue, I just didn't check it, so that's my fault. Maybe I'll find out there's some venue I've never heard of, and there's all these great shows there, but I don't. I don't think that's true. Hamtramck is somewhat of a black hole. I suspect that might be the place I would probably want to spend more time in, but I can't. I can't get there and back. Or at least I'm going to go there. It's annoying because it's not far enough that I want to spend the night, but it's too far to walk, right? So like it's right outside downtown. You'd think it wouldn't be so much of a problem, but anyways, and I kind of get the impression that it's more like the current fashion trends do not suggest that's really where I want to spend time with. The current fashion trends suggest that I want to spend time more on the outskirts of places, and thus it's the strip of Michigan that I'm more likely to spend time on. Anyways, I did finish. I need to do some double checking. It's Sunday morning. I'm gonna have to make some eggs, but things are hurtling over. properly. I'm also gonna have to do some more editing. If I can get both of the Facebook sites done tonight, and I can start doing some editing, then I can get out of bed and move over to my sitting up computer. I think that's really so important right now. Is I need to stop lying on my back for hours and days at a time and sit up when I'm typing. Which means moving over to the other computer. Yeah. So that's kind of my goal. And once that happens, I think I'm done quitting smoking. So it's just a few more days. And we're on season number 4. So it's a little bit before 9, and I am actually done completely the personal Facebook page cleanup, meaning I'm over onto the music page, which I am going to leave as is, and then regenerate slowly somewhere else. At least I was able to see that it looks like I'm aiming for July 1st ramp up here, which is fine. That gives me lots of time. I probably will be set up by the end of February. That's probably more likely. And I'm going to get something to eat and then get back to it. How long will it take to do the music page? Probably not much more than the rest of the day. I think it'll be done before I go to sleep. I want to point out that it's 5 o'clock and the sun is still up relatively strongly. We might even get to 5:30 today. I haven't checked the sunrise or sunset, but I noticed that this afternoon that it feels like that kind of hump is over. It's about a month either way from the solstice, right? So, you know, it kind of kicks in near the end of November and kind of, you know, falls back out again at the beginning of February. But I mean, like, those 2 months are dark here, anyways, like very dark. The sun's not up until, you know, like 8 or after 8, and it's down like before 5. And I'm not like I'm actually literally in the southernmost city in Canada. I mean, like, I'm not the precise southernmost point. There's you know, if I go, I think it's about 100 miles south of here is the southernmost point. It's Point Pelee Island. It's an island just north of Cleveland, and that's the southernmost part of Canada. I'm just south of Detroit, so I'm not far from there. And there's no city anywhere near here, or that's closer to that point than here. You'd have to go up, I guess. I guess from Point Pelee, you could either go north a little bit to London, Ontario. Sorry, northeast a little bit to London, Ontario, or you could go more straight east up to St. Catharines, which is Niagara Falls. It's right near Buffalo, New York, right? So one way or the other, but like I said, those 2 months are crazy dark, and I am in the southernmost part. But I mean, it's that's not the best metric either, right? Because I'm right on the edge of the time zone. If I was to move east, it wouldn't seem so bad, although the sun would come down earlier. And you know, there's the fact that, you know, the further north that you move, in fact, the days can get longer at different parts of the year. But I mean, at this part of the year, when we're moving away from the sun, I think that pointing out that I'm in the southernmost part, in terms of actual day length, even if it's staggered, is meaningful. I'm not doing the music site. I'm going to put that off until I get back to the Period 1 disc, which I would like to get back to soon. I'm actually clearing off my Death to Koalas page right now, and it's not clear to me whether I'm going to create a new page. I'm going to have to check a few things to see how that works out. I'm going to change the title. Like, when I changed it from Death to Koalas to Jessica, so there should be very few, if any, instances of Death to Koalas on YouTube connected to my old account. That should be actually stable all the way across. The only situations where Death to Koalas will show up is where somebody typed my name in a different comment and did not tag me. All of the tags should have changed to Jessica. Now, what I need to check to see is if by deleting everything and then rechanging it. See, the fact that all the links seem to have broken by removing my comments suggests to me that I'm probably breaking that link, so I can just go ahead and change the name. See, what I don't want to happen, I don't want to change the name and then have the name show up so that people piece it together kind of thing. That would be bad. I want it to be fresh so that all the links are clean. Am I going to get this done today? I might actually get the page cleared off. It's not that much when I really look at it. And it's an easier process, and I'm not worried about various things that I was worried about before. Just copying and pasting. But I'm also going to want to go through my YouTube history and clear that out and move everything over. That's going to be more difficult because it's not dated. And I've looked through a whole bunch of things and I can't figure out how to date it. The only thing that I might be able to cross-reference it to is my YouTube search. And I'm actually not sure if those things overlap. So I'm going to clear off the Google Plus page first and then see what I can do about the watch later history. Because, I mean, that's a part of the process, right? It's which videos I watched and moving that over. After that, the last step before I'm able to get back to what I was doing is going to be to go through my browser history, which is only up until about August, because that's the last time I cleared it out, although I might have some on my other machine. These are things I need to check. And then I can go to actually trying to find as much data as I can to rebuild it. Like I say, I think that I'm looking for July. Like, I'll be done way before July, so I got lots of time, and I'm gonna get back to it. But this is the last the last part of this. That, well, I have to do the browser on the laptop, so that I guess that's what I'm working towards, right? Get the Death to Koala stuff done and get the browser stuff done, and then I'm off the laptop and I'm going to be sitting in the other room quite consistently. The other thing is I am planning on hitting a show on the 11th. This is a curatorial show. I am curating this. There are 2 local acts and they both seem worth documenting. So that's the point of that. But it might be an overnight show and it might be cold. So I do feel that I need to hit that show. But there's some hurdles. And the point is that I want to get to the point where I'm back on the other computer before then. So that's my goal for right now, is before Thursday. A little bit more than a month, but it's good enough. So it's nearly 8:30 at night, which means it's actually getting to the end of the night for me. In bed nice and early. You know how my schedule works. Any time of day at all. Yeah, so I'm going to bed at probably around 9 or 10 tonight. Next week I'll be in bed at 3 a.m. up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's no schedule. Even if it sounds a little bit lame to go to bed at 8:30. That looks like, well, I mean, it's funny because if I go to bed at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, no one, that doesn't sound so odd. That just sounds like I was up all night, crazy night, And if I'm in bed at 11, it's maybe a little early, but not so crazy. It's just that little window, right? If you're really rational about it, it's just that it's more like that. There's a 3-hour window where it's forbidden to go to bed. Our social rules are really really quite ridiculous, aren't they, when you really step back and look at them? So yeah, I'm gonna finish my eggs, and then probably fall asleep not long after that. How much progress? This is, I need to reevaluate this. It's gonna take quite some time. In fact, it's no doubt gonna take long enough that I'm essentially gonna pivot in the morning. So I wanted to, like I said, I had some psychological baggage attached to the idea of showering when I was finished. Um, it's going to be a long time before I shower if I do that, and this is part of what I wanted to get out of and getting over the post smoking. You'll notice I did this before, and I will push myself for very long periods. I need to just not do that, and rather look at the other project as being the pivot, and this moving into something else. That means that that's what I'm doing right now. Is I'm starting into the next phase, which is um, reconstructing the alter reality in a new spot. I said before that I wanted to that I was sketchy about um, reusing this profile. I don't know. I'm thinking about it again. Is it really the end of the world if some random link on some site that without context throws me into there? Um, Everyone in the world is, or anyone that stumbles upon it is going to have to know that it's me. That is the point. um, I'm less concerned about the outside finding its way to this profile, and more concerned about ensuring that this profile doesn't find its way to the outside. So if you find me via that profile, then you don't get to my new site. It doesn't really bother me if you get from my new site to the. Sorry, if you get from. See, this is one of these old new things. Being contextual. Okay, so what I want to prevent is moving from the alter reality to the present. Um, it doesn't really concern me so much if people in the present know about the alter reality. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing these vlogs, now would I? It's really not the end of the world, if it's just kind of the odd link kind of thing. It's a question of minimizing it and understanding. I think I was able to get to the beginning of my YouTube watch history, and that it was sometime in the mid 2013. I was able to download my Google search history, and it begins sometime in 2011. So the two of those things together should allow me to construct most of my YouTube, period. If I'm lucky, like I say, I'll actually be able to find like if I'm lucky, the YouTube searches are in the Google search history. I don't know if that's the case, or if it's just stuff that's directly at Google, or if it's in everything. That should at least give me some context for time. I'm not. It's going to be a while before I have to even think about that. Right now, I'm just concerned about clearing the page off, and getting as much information away from there as possible. But this is. I've made that choice. This is season 4. Right now, it's or at least season 4 will begin tomorrow. Right now, like I say, I'm just finishing my eggs. I'm going to bed. I'm sleepy enough that it probably won't be too much, but tomorrow is the start of something different, and I'll want to approach things accordingly.
Well, what about moving the stones and lifting them into
Okay, so somehow I ended up watching a film designed to debunk the ancient aliens theory that was presented on the History Channel. Now I've seen the meme, with the spaced out guy. Um, but I've really actually never seen this film, so I'm not completely sure what it is that I'm watching be debunked. But I can say with a great deal of certainty that the moment that we start talking about anti-gravity to move blocks is the moment where we don't have to debunk anymore. Um, that's not worth debunking. Um, it's absolutely amazing that you get that published on a major television network. Um, that said, as I pointed out before, a lot of what you see in these films is um, not worth taking seriously. It's light entertainment. Um, it's no doubt meant as light entertainment. Problem is that people that are watching it are too clueless. Um, I mean, this guy went through a big, I used to believe in the ancient astronaut theory. I tried to convince my friends and my family. You know, anti-gravity, force fields, aliens. Like to move blocks in the South American desert. I mean, get real. This is, but then again, we're talking about a culture where people believe the Bible. So I mean, it's one of those moments where you should thank yourself for having gone to school. And if you've made it past the 2.5 minute mark into this video, you probably did. I think we lost all the people that would take something like this seriously. That's what I'm gonna do a react to this. Um, I just want to point out that this is a straw man, or at least it's a straw man from the perspective of any quote-unquote ancient astronaut theory that I've ever seen presented to me. The idea of aliens using anti-gravity maneuvers to move blocks of stone is not something that I've ever heard connected to the idea of there being contact in the distant past. Generally, and we'll see. This appears to be a fairly long video. We'll see if it gets there or not. But generally, these arguments revolve more around comparative mythology. Um, these stories of things coming down from the heavens and things leaving into the heavens. Um, I don't think I've ever. I mean, whether it's a monument in Peru or it's Stonehenge or the pyramids, I don't think I've ever seen any explicit argument presented um, that aliens are in any way required to build any of this. Um, so when I say it's a straw man, I have to question like where is this coming from, and why precisely is it being presented in such a blatantly ridiculous way. Um, it is very easy to fall back to your basic, maximization of profit. There's an opportunity to make a dollar by, throwing around a lot of bullshit. Somebody's going to take it up. But there's other more sinister suggestions. If you have an idea and you don't want people to take it seriously, then you make it look as ridiculous as you can. Um, and this would be one way to make it look ridiculous. Um, I guess maybe the debunking video was just necessary for those um, few fools who took the propaganda at face value. I'm gonna wait until I get through the video to see what it says about a story like the story of Elijah. See what they have to say about that. Some of the stories in the Renaissance, and I know I've seen everything that explains otherwise, but it's a culmination of things, rather than a single thing. Although I will like I'm skeptical about the Renaissance connections as well, because it's too recent, and it's hard to believe that there's no record of it. It's easier to believe that the records, 2,500 years or 3,000 years ago are blurry. That's not hard to believe, um, especially in areas that had a lot of destruction or lost a lot of records. But to suggest that, 500 or 600 years ago, when we're like smack dab in the historical period, that's harder to swallow. And that in itself um, questions the credibility of the other um, periods and the other things. But I mean, it's not like this is an idea that's in a theory. Um, like this is not something that can be proven. At least not in our stage of evidence that we have in front of us. And it's hard to see how this could be proven, short of somebody flying down and saying hi, kind of thing. And again, I need to point out that I'm not sure if I did this on the vlog or not, but one of the major arguments against space travel is that it's too far. But if you had aliens that were 20,000 years old, that would be less of a problem than we might suspect, right? And in fact, if they are that old, they might have some of the characteristics that we've attached to deities, perhaps even those deities that we have placed in the sky. The flip side of that is that it could just as much be a longing to escape, right? So I don't claim that it's at a stage past a crude hypothesis. But I think that writing the idea off is ultimately as perilous as accepting it on the basis of levitating pillars. It's one of those things that you really can't rule out, and that, if contemplated with a healthy dose of realism, could really provide for an interesting understanding of certain memes and ideas that exist across cultures and through long periods in the past. So what do I think about ancient aliens? Well, again, the idea as it's presented here is completely absurd. But the broad concept, it has support not in archaeology or in architecture, but in comparative mythology. And I'm going to see what this video has to say about that before I close this react.